Hello, my name is Mark Worley and I am part of the Vertica family based in the small country of Wales in the United Kingdom. Today I am going to present some of the key features that make Vertica a game changer in the world of analytic database technologies and machine learning. When trying to whittle down the number of features to talk about, I was naturally faced with the predicament that there are so many key features. Which are the ones worth bringing to your attention? Do I pick 10 and hardly touch the surface? Or do I pick 50 and immediately lose your interest? In the end, and as we start a new decade, and with the year also often referred to as perfect vision, I settled on talking about the 20 coolest features to see in Vertica in 2020. 20 features that make Vertica stand out from the crowd. As you'll see, Vertica is a product like no other. Our true value lies in our ability to do what no one else can do. This is usually due to a combination of features that can only be found together in Vertica. The 20 features I'm going to show you today, every one of which alone has been a game changer for some of our customers, and could be a game changer for you as well. Number 1. Query Optimized Storage. Columnar storage architecture lies at the heart of Vertica. In fact, Vertica was the first database, back when it was presented as an academic paper called C-Store, that combines columnar storage and massively parallel processing. This was the foundation from which Vertica was built back in 2005, 6 years before Hadoop was the thing, and all our functionality has been built upon it since then. Here's the short version of how it works, explained for both SQL experts and Hadoop experts. In Vertica, a table is a logical thing, and a projection a physical thing. A projection is literally a set of sorted and compressed columnar files on disk. For the SQL folks out there, a projection is similar to a clustered column index, except projections are the only thing we store for the table. There are actually more differences, but think of it as only storing indexes for now. A projection is defined similar to a materialized view as a select. Create projection, select A, B and C from sales, order by A. Create projection as select B, A and C from sales, order by B and A. Create projection as select C and A from sales, order by C. There are more options you can specify other than just columns and sort order, but these are the minimum required. The difference is you don't have to refresh the view. You don't have to update the indexes. When you insert into a table, data is loaded directly into the projections, all at once. Then, at query time, the best projection to answer the query is chosen automatically by the optimizer. If you're familiar with Hive, you probably realize by now that projections are a lot like Hive tables. Think of it as having multiple Hive tables behind a virtual table so that you could get merge joins and pipelined aggregations on different kinds of queries. Except it's also supported natively, and it actually works because of that. Number 2. Automatic database design. The rules for optimal compression, sorting and distributing projections are in most cases straightforward and can be directly derived from the queries. So why spend time doing it manually? Projections can be created automatically by a special tool called the Database Designer. Think of it as a tool that would automatically suggest indexes for you in a row store based on your workload. For example, the typical workflow as a sales engineer doing a proof of concept is to receive a backup of an Oracle or a Microsoft database along with some queries of whose performance we have to benchmark. And we usually have to do it all in under 1 week in order to keep the backlog from building up. So what we do is we convert the create table statements into Vertica SQL dialect using an automatic converter. Load some data from the source database into Vertica and prepare the sample queries we need to optimize for. Then we feed all of that into the database designer, which generates a physical design, all of those create projection statements. The data is optimally compressed and the sample queries run fast. Later, it can be run incrementally when the workload changes. Now, the database designer does a good job for start. I'd give it a B+ or an A- in most cases. Obviously, when you know the ins and outs of encoding, compression, query execution plans and so forth, you can always optimize further manually. Number 3. Automatic data marts. Joins are a performance killer. Sure, you have such things as merge joins and column stores which make things a lot better, but at the end of the day, you're still reading data from several different places and joining it all together. This takes time and it needs to be done on every query. This is why data marts have been a go-to choice for representing data that needs to be queried frequently. However, data marts need to be refreshed when the data changes. This can involve a lot of wasteful computation unless you only refresh the parts that have changed. And there are other issues and considerations with that and so forth. The point is, it's not trivial. Vertica has a killer feature for a few years now that make most data mart scenarios really simple. The feature is this. You can add a calculated column to a table that can look up a value from another table. Or you can use any other expression really, with or without joins. Anything that returns either one value per row or nothing is fine. If your data mart is, for the sake of simplicity, a fact table with a column looked up from a dimension table, you can add a column that selects a value from that dimension table. You insert new data into the fact table. New values are populated automatically. Dimension table updated. Refresh a single column. It's blazingly fast, because it's a column store. Updating a couple of keys in a fact table. Refresh one column from just the last day, or however your data is partitioned, even faster. Also, as a bonus, it's free, since data in the calculated column is not independent. It doesn't count towards licensed capacity. You only pay for the fact portion of such data marts. Number 4. Pre-aggregation for cubes. Whilst we're on the subject of data marts, consider this. You're getting terabytes of rows per day on the detail level, but your analysts run their queries at the hour level. So what do? Do you give up and have your guys wait whilst gigabytes of data are read from disk and redundantly aggregated for every query? Do you create a separate table with aggregated data and update it with complex logic? Do you put an OLAP engine in front of your database which will aggregate your data, adding to the cost and complexity of the hardware? No! You add a projection to the table which groups by all the predicates you need and aggregates all the metrics that you need. This so-called live aggregate projection is then refreshed along with all the other projections, live on every commit. Now, you don't need to increase complexity of your logic or the cost of hardware and the additional software which will do in-memory aggregations for you. It all comes out of the box, and more importantly, out of one box. Number 5. Freedom from underlying storage. Vertica is known for being infrastructure agnostic. We frequently go against lockdown, vendor-branded boxes full of FPGAs, GPUs, terabytes of RAM and InfiniBand, and we rip them to shreds using Ethernet-connected no-name servers with spinning disks. Did you know we can even have different partitions of a single table stored in different places? You can put the last month on local disk and dump the rest on slower storage like SAN or HDFS. I'm not talking here about working with native Hadoop files now, which is further down the list, or Eon mode, which is so insane it gets a whole section to itself. Flexibility is key to accomplishing build objectives, and this is just one of many examples. Number 6. Deployment options. When Vertica was first envisaged back in 2005, it was designed and built to run on commodity hardware on premises. This mode of operation follows a shared nothing architecture where each node in a cluster is independent and self-sufficient, and there is no single point of contention. More specifically, none of the nodes share memory or disk storage. At the time, Vertica was the fastest, open architecture, advanced analytics SQL database on commodity hardware. Shortly afterwards, customers wanted to run their Vertica database in the cloud, and thus we made Vertica available in the clouds. Initially with Amazon Web Services, AWS, shortly followed by Google Cloud Platform and Microsoft Azure. This then meant Vertica was the fastest open architecture advanced analytics SQL database in the clouds. Just being in the cloud does not mean we were fulfilling the cloud promise, namely the ability to rapidly scale up and down to meet organizations' ever-changing workloads. To address this, we introduced Vertica in Eon mode, initially available on AWS and now GCP. Unlike enterprise mode, Eon mode separates compute from storage, thus now giving us the fastest open architecture advanced analytics SQL database in the cloud, capable of scaling quickly to keep pace with your ever-changing workloads. Where customers have a desire to take advantage of Eon mode but do not want to deploy in the cloud, we now have Vertica in Eon mode using on-premises communal storage, including Pure Storage, FlashBlade, and Min.io. Thus, now giving us the world's only advanced analytics SQL database that separates compute from storage in on-premises data centers. What should be noted that the later architectures do not replace the earlier ones. Rather, they supplement them. Vertica is one product that comes out of one box and can be deployed in multiple clouds and in on-premises data centers, in both enterprise and Eon modes, giving the customer the widest choice of deployment options of any advanced analytics SQL database. Vertica is built for freedom. Number 7. Technology partner integration. Our customers typically rely on a plethora of tools to perform their day-to-day activities, whether that be for data transformation, messaging, ETL, BI and visualization. And who are we to say they can't continue to use them? That's why we have partnered with major technology and solution providers across industries to provide a complete analytics ecosystem so our customers can efficiently and effectively manage their big data. I compiled this list of nearly 100 technology partners' integration connection guides and tips and techniques from the Vertica.com website. However, if you have a product with a name that starts with G, N, U, W or X, there are a few gaps to fill in there. Number 8. All you need for IoT and Clickstream. In Vertica's early days, providing full OLAP function compatibility was enough to meet the most challenging customer demands. Recently, more and more companies need to get actionable insights in real time, and new trends such as predictive maintenance and the Internet of Things in general are pushing the limits of analytical tools. Vertica has always been ahead of the game here, with us now providing full support for OLAP extensions for geospatial, time series, and most recently machine learning. Let's just consider time series though. So you've got two sensors that are getting readings that are not synchronized. How do you combine them? Well, you just interpolate the values and join the two tables on mismatched timecodes. You can also normalize intervals in the time series data, which you'll definitely need to do a lot of if you want your sensor data to make any sense at all. Again, one built-in SQL clause. No monstrous spaghetti code, nothing like that. Or let's talk about CEP, or complex event processing. So you need to capture a sequence of events that are happening over a course of several hours. No problem. Define individual events as conditions on a row as A, B and C, and look for a regular expression containing A, B and C. Customer enters your site, views your site, makes a purchase, does something else. Define the entire chain of clicks, however complicated it is, the whole sequence as a single user session, and find all of the times where that happened. Speaking of sessions, sessionize your data without using performance bottlenecking sequences. Or fill gaps in your data because sensors are always unreliable. You don't need to write custom code or install a dedicated time series database for any of this. It all comes out of the box, and it all comes out of one box. Number 9, a huge set of built-in functions. And when I say huge, I really mean it. Taking a very quick overview of the types of built-in functions. You can see the list of types is huge, and that's before we even look at the individual functions. In a few moments, we will talk about the maturity of Vertica and how it was envisaged by an expert in the field. As means to highlight the maturity of Vertica and how it ranks to other solutions out there, we conducted a very simple piece of research. Let us take a look at some of the many database technologies out there and count the number of built-in SQL functions. Now, we accept that this can easily be open to misinterpretation, with one arguing that just counting functions is not a fair comparison. But if we are to take everything into consideration, such a comparison would quickly become unwieldy, and where one product did something one way and another had a different approach, all swings and roundabouts. What we are focusing on here are built-in functions. Functions that come out of the box, ready to roll. Sure, some of these technologies enable you to write your own user-defined functions or extensions, and Vertica is no exception here. But doing so takes a considerable amount of time and effort, and will rarely be as performant or capable as the built-in function that was designed to be an integral part of the core product. So, again, concentrating on built-in functions, those found in the box, we can see here that although there are some close competitors, Vertica comes out as number 1. Number 10, Unrivalled Development Framework. And just in case those 600 plus built-in functions were not enough, Vertica has a highly extensible user-defined extensions framework. UDXs provide for external user-defined functions, new data types, parsers and data loaders to be installed onto the Vertica server. Written in C++, R, Java or Python, UDXs are run in database as a Vertica SQL function. There are currently 5 types of UDXs: scalar, transform, aggregate, analytic, and user-defined load, thus increasing the power and flexibility of procedural code by executing algorithms in parallel across nodes on large datasets. Number 11. Complex data type support. Like most other database technologies, Vertica supports all the normal ANSI SQL data types, covering binary, character, date time, Boolean, approximate numeric, and exact numbers. But Vertica also supports spatial, geometry and geography, and UUID data types. But other than the spatial and UUID data types, which are not supported by all other database technologies, these alone do not make Vertica stand out from the crowd. What we are talking about here are complex data types. A lot of our customers need to query Parquet files or other data that may have interval types that are a bit more complex than usual. Vertica supports some of those complex types right now, and we are dedicated to adding full support for all complex types in future releases. Examples of complex data types include arrays, a homogeneous collection of elements of the same data type, maps, key value pairs, struct, a composite data type that can contain other complex and simple data types. Number 12. End-to-end machine learning workflow support. People have stored years of data, not throwing it away, since Google showed them it was a smart thing to do. Now's the time to finally monetize that dark data. But machine learning is a fragmented landscape, and the average data scientist is half the age of the average database administrator. So how do you go about bridging this gap? Well, you just need a single platform that gives you all you need for monetizing your data with machine learning. Data scientists spend 80% of their time not developing machine learning algorithms. They collect and prepare the data. Getting a mass of source data ready for machine learning is an insanely difficult task, and we have all the required tools built in and working at petabyte scale. Outlier detection, missing value imputation, normalization, one-hot encoding, whatever, all built in and ready to go. We also bridge the generation gap. Your data scientists want to work in Python, let them. Native Python clients, native Python libraries, native Python API for user-defined functions, including machine learning algorithms. Your analysts want to try their hand at machine learning, but they want to do everything in SQL. No problem, everything is natively SQL. It is a SQL database. You want to connect to Spark with no bottlenecks in a distributed fashion. You want to write algorithms in R and execute them distributed on a cluster. We have it all. No additional hardware, no additional software, no custom code. It all comes out of the box, and it all comes out of one box. Number 13. Native JSON log formats, awk and Parquet support. Vertica is not only infrastructure agnostic, it's not only storage agnostic, it's also format agnostic to a large extent. You want to parse log files with regex. You don't need Splunk for that. We do it better and faster with flex tables. You want to map JSON to a relational structure or run analytics, anything I've mentioned so far, on JSON directly. You don't need Mongo. We do it better and faster with flex tables. You want to collect CSVs from equipment logs, but the column format changes every firmware upgrade. Flex tables. Literally one statement and you're now loading based on the column names rather than the column order. You want to work with Parquet or Orc faster than any Hadoop-based solution. Or maybe you just have some Parquet files lying around without a Hadoop cluster at all. Our native Parquet and Orc parsers are lightning fast, written in C, and don't care if your data is even in Hadoop. You want to do all that without importing any of the data into your database? Knock yourself out. External tables allow you to do this stuff while scanning data on the fly, although it will be faster if you load it though. Again, no added hardware, no added software, no custom code, all out of the box, all out of one box. Number 14. Flexible architecture suits nearly any analytical project. It's true. Most of our customers that started out a few years ago by copying prepared data marts overnight from Oracle or Microsoft to speed up their data warehouses are now doing things that they never thought were possible. Heck, things I never thought were possible back then. They do it on any infrastructure, from a rack of physical servers to a cluster of servers with data in S3. They load data in whatever way they want, from overnight loading to near real-time streaming. They prepare it however they want, from in-database transformations to streaming transformations with Spark with an MPP link to Vertica, and they store their data in whatever way they want. From fully denormalized flat tables to sixth normal form, all thanks to the flexibility they have. Number 15. Securing sensitive data. Like most other relational database management systems, Vertica is fully equipped with all the standard security and authentication features, including client authentication, internode communication and encryption, TLS, SSL, server authentication, LDAP, database auditing, and system table restrictions and access, so nothing really to stand out there from the crowd. But what Vertica does have, thanks to our tight integration with voltage secure data, is a unique solution for securing sensitive data. With its comprehensive data protection framework that secures data as it is captured, processed and stored, providing privacy of sensitive information from end to end across an enterprise's IT infrastructure with format preserving encryption or FPE and tokenization technologies. Protection is provided at field and subfield level. By its very nature, FPE provides huge benefits to big data analytics, from maintaining referential integrity and ensuring optimal performance of query execution to enabling data scientists to continue to deliver business insights without the need to expose live payment card, personal or protected health information. So, are you ready for reducing the scope of regulatory compliance audits such as Payment Card Industry (PCA) and Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act (HIPAA) and the General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR) legislation for EU data subjects? Number 16. Product maturity. I mentioned earlier that Vertica came into being back in 2005. But going a little further back in time, back in the 1970s, one Michael Stonebreaker developed what became the world's first row-store relational database management system, Ingress. There then followed many other row-store developments, Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, some of which spawned out of the Ingress code, such as Postgres. In 2014, Stonebreaker was awarded the prestigious Alan Turing Award for fundamental contributions to the concepts and practices underlying modern database systems. As these traditional row store technologies started to struggle with the changing demand on how databases were being used, Stonebreaker went on to co-author a paper entitled C-Store, a column-oriented relational database management system. And shortly afterwards, he went on to develop the C-Store database, which was then commercialized as our beloved Vertica, a highly performant column store database built from the first line of code to address these challenges. But it doesn't stop there. Here, looking at a snapshot of just some of the new features appearing in Vertica since 2012, not forgetting we go back to 2005. And as I said, this is just a selection of some of the new features. The Vertica engineering team have not been sitting on their laurels, making Vertica what it is today, a feature-rich, extremely mature product that no other can match. What's coming out later in 2020 and beyond? Tune in and see, but rest assured, there will be some really exciting new features. And what's more, it will all come out of the box. One box. Number 17. A proven return on investment with Vertica. Vertica delivers a proven ROI across a variety of businesses and industries. Taking as examples just these 6 companies, looking at the costs of software, hardware, personnel and training for both direct and indirect costs, the return on investment achieved are just staggering. Not only saving millions of dollars per year, but achieving payback in such short timescales, measured in many cases in just months. With Vertica returning over $4 for every dollar spent, how much can Vertica save your business? Number 18. Customer satisfaction. One of the most well-respected and research-backed metrics in the industry today is the Net Promoter Score, or NPS. We survey our customers on a quarterly basis and received a very impressive NPS score of 58, which was higher than all competitors included in the survey, including IBM's Netezza, Amazon, and Oracle. So it's not only our Vertica colleagues who love Vertica, our customers do too. Number 19. A highly active and popular community. Whether it's the looking for thoughts and inspiration from the hundreds of Vertica blog postings, asking and answering questions on the Vertica forum, downloading and contributing on Vertica's GitHub, or joining the thousands of members in our big data and machine learning and Vertica meetup groups around the world, you will not be alone. There really is a highly active and popular community buzzing with everything Vertica, so why not come in and join us? Number 20, and last but not least, the Vertica Academy. In September 2019, we launched the Vertica Academy, the one-stop shop for all your Vertica training. Fast forward 6 months, and we have thousands of users or students. And although we originally only published 13 courses, over 3,000 certificates have been awarded. March 2020 and Phase 2 of the Vertica Academy went live. A further 6 courses went live, and our first full certification course, entitled Vertica Essentials 9.x Certification Course. This comprises 13 modules, 145 videos, 45 hands-on lab exercises, and over 200 knowledge check questions. Now, when I say shop, that would typically imply that it's the place you go to buy things, but not this shop. Everything, and I mean everything that's inside the Vertica Academy today, is free. Whether you're looking for a short introduction to Vertica, looking for quick tips on how to visualize query execution plans, or want to jump in at the deep end and enroll for the Vertica Essentials certification course, you can keep your wallet in your pocket. Register for the Vertica Academy and sign up for any of the online courses, and all it'll cost you is your time. Some of the courses have hands-on lab exercises. Again, we provide you with free access to computer resources to complete these exercises at no cost to you. What's the catch? Well, there isn't one. We won't even send you a friendly salesperson to harass you. All we would ask are two very simple things. Firstly, if you like the Vertica Academy, in fact, if you don't like it, we would love to hear from you. It's nice to know we got it right, and if we didn't, we want to make it right. And secondly, spread the word. Let your friends and colleagues know about the Vertica Academy. You know, I've been going on round and round like a broken record, saying out of the box, out of one box. Well, that's not actually quite correct. Because it's not a box. There is no box. Vertica is pure software that works on all popular Linux flavors, and most importantly, it's free. We have a fully featured community edition which is free for up to 1 terabyte of data or 3 terabytes of Hadoop data. We'll let anyone download Vertica for free from our website, and we are present on all major cloud marketplaces. That means there's a massive user community out there, present in the world's top companies, on college campuses, and on sites such as Stack Overflow. And although Vertica source code is closed, many of our customers are on record saying that Vertica feels more open and flexible than any open source solution that they know of. So do jump in and feel free to reach out to me directly, or whoever showed you this video, or just ask questions on our forum or on Stack Overflow. As a final thought, I would like to say that I am not the only person behind this video. The Vertica family is a worldwide network of passionate experts whose job it is not to sell you anything or even make you fall in love with Vertica, although we all have. Our job is to do whatever we can to help you succeed. We're always there for you. We're there to help and guide you through your journey should you decide to take it. And make sure that no matter what your ideas are or how ambitious they are, you can always make them a reality. Thank you.